Well, hello everyone, this is EC the Gamer, and we are back with NieR Automata, and I'm sorry, but I said that I was going to do one video. I decided to do another one. I don't know why. I mean, I could have just read this on my own, but I wanted to read them too, uh, and not this ones. There were so many weapons, so I decided, you know what, let me try and read them here. But I'm going to find, yeah, this is the best place to read it here because you actually see the weapon too. So let's start reading them. Uh, let's start with this one. Some of them, so those are. So yeah, this video is going to be pretty weapon story, and that's it. So let's get the weapon stories. This is the fate. Uh, in the capital of a distant eastern land, there lived a boy who was devoted to his art, but his words failed to touch the hearts of the people, and he could make no profit from them. Soon his life became unbearably hard. Seeing the limits of his talents, the poet chose to abandon the pen and work the land instead. Soon his lily white skin began to grow dark, and his once frail body became sinewy and tough. That's the first time that I've heard that word. He eventually married a kind woman, and several years later they had a child. As the peaceful, uneventful days went on, the man began to feel that there could be no greater happiness in life, or so the poet thought, or so the poet wrote before he put down his pen, swallowed the paper whole, and prayed that the next life might turn out so well. He then took fate, already stained with the blood of another, and plunged it deep into his chest. What the hell? What did I read at this point? I don't understand. Like, yeah, so he loved being a poet, but he couldn't do. No one heard his poems. He couldn't make money. I understand that part. So he decided to change to pretty much become a farmer. He married someone, had a child, and everything. He was happy. Essentially, he was happy. And then something happened, or so the poet wrote. Before he put down his pen, swallowed the paper whole, and prayed that the next life might turn out so well. He then took fate, already stained with the blood of another, and plunged it deep into his chest. Okay, so either I missed not reading this well, but is it just me, or does this mean like, or so the poet wrote? Okay, so yeah, this didn't happen. So the first part did happen, but those two parts there in the middle, that did not happen. He wrote that. So he was thinking about how his life could have been, but essentially it was over because by this time he already killed someone, and then he killed himself. Okay, then that's dark. I think I read this one. Yep. This one is from NieR, brother, father, whichever one you play. Bisbane. Okay, so once upon a time there were three princesses. The middle princess wasn't very bright, but was renowned by all of the great beauty. Once she came of age, she was married off to the king of a neighboring nation. The neighboring king adored his new wife and treasured her looks above all else. He gave the middle princess 6 new dresses and 8 fresh flowers every day, and his love caused her beauty to shine all the more. The middle princess did all she could to remain beautiful for her king, but she knew she knew time would eventually catch up with her as it did for her for all. So after much hard thought, she developed a cunning plan. The middle princess had herself stuffed and mounted so she could remain beautiful for all time. The king wept joyful tears at the sight, but alas, 2 years later, war broke out and her body was crushed under the rubble of the castle. I know what they're doing here. Okay, so these weapons were in the first game, but their stories were with the prince, or were prince or kings, I believe it was. So there were three, and the same story, three of them, and each one had a kingdom. One was a war, the other was a peace, the other was a negotiation, something like that, and all of them ended up terribly. Well, so she was afraid that she was going to grow old, which, I mean, it's what happens. That is life. So she essentially killed herself, but may embalm her body so that she could be beautiful forever. It didn't matter because at the end her body was destroyed. Okay, let's look for the other one. There's three of them. Yeah, this is the same one. Let's go. Once upon a time, there were three princesses. The oldest princess was thought by all to be the most brilliant woman in the kingdom. So the other wasn't as bright, but it was beautiful. And she soon sat upon the throne of her homeland as their queen. Oh, so this one became a queen. The new queen raised a mighty army. To further the endeavor, she taxed her people, and in turn, they were given jobs in new factories created to support the war effort. People worked, money flowed. As the army grew strong, the demand for factory grew with it, and then the cycle repeated: more work, more money, more work, more money. The queen's plan proceeded just as she had envisioned it. To further strengthen the kingdom, we were converted to machines to enhance our output in factories and the military. Our queen in turn became the control system that rules us to this day. Oh man, that is a really bad fate. So yeah, it's the same stories, or at least they're similar. They have some similarity, but they're different. But yeah, the first one was either prince or kings, and there was a king. I don't know if it was beauty or something like that, but there was one of war. And it was very similar, but this one is really cool. So they eventually became machines, and everyone, even the queen, became part of a system. Well, that's not a life that I want to end. Like. Okay. Yeah, appear with the king of peace as his motif. Okay, and this is the last one, the youngest, I assume. The youngest princess was widely regarded as the ugliest woman in all the land, but her heart was gentle, honest, and pure. Hoping to aid others in need, the youngest princess would travel to the fields to offer succor to peasants, but they would reject her kindness with cruel words. The youngest princess knew her looks were driving people away, yet she kept donating her life to the service of others, figuring that the fault lay in her own lack of devotion. Day after day they continued for years without end. This continued for years without end. The youngest princess died alone, curled in the back of a damp, wet alley. She was so ugly that no one had the courage to give her a proper burial. Instead, she rotted where she lay, turning even uglier until she faded into the earth. I don't know which one had the worst face. I don't know, I think everyone ended really badly there. Okay, anyone else? I don't think there's one here. Let's see the image. By the image I can tell. Nope. Yeah, the image tells me what I am looking for. Yeah, it's not there. There's no... Okay, the fist has something. No, it doesn't have anything. Okay, so we finished that weapon. Let's go look for the other, the finished dagger. The girl, okay, let me see something. Okay, the girl lay there on the day of her wedding. Her parents and beloved were dead, and she herself had been violated in front of their corpses. As she swore to kill those who had done this terrible deed, a shining somber appeared. "Allow me to grant your wish," said the bird. "Wish upon this dagger, and never forget the hatred that you feel." The girl grasped the weapon and spat out a tearful curse. "I vow not to forget. Please give them a painful death." Time passed, and eventually she got her revenge. Years later, when she was an old woman, the somber appeared anew. "What is your vow?" it asked. But she did not understand, and come to think of it, what became of her beloved dagger? That night, bandits broke into her house, assaulted her daughter, and murdered her grandchild. The somber then reappeared with a single question: "How long will your hatred burn this time?" Holy crap, what the hell? Let me read this again. Because her family was killed, and she sworn to kill those who had done this terrible deed. Yeah. "I vow not to forget." Let me see. "Wish upon this dagger and never forget this hatred that you feel." The girl grasped the weapon. "I vow not to forget. Please give them a painful death." Okay, the time passed. Yeah, they all die. But when she was old, the bird came. "What of your vow?" But she did not understand, and come to think of it, what became of her beloved dagger? That night, bandits broke into her house, assaulted her daughter, and murdered her grandchild. The somber then reappeared with a single question: "How long will your hatred burn this time?" Wow. So the somber, I don't know if it tricked her, but essentially say, "You promised to never forget," and clearly as she grew old, she eventually forgot. And it happened again. Damn, that's harsh. Again, these stories are all depressing. They're not worth sometimes reading them. Okay. One day, now it's a hawk. One day a hawk lost his way in the wood. His proud wings soon grew weak as he tried in vain to find his way home. Instead approached a songbird, took pity on the hawk, and did its best to offer aid. The songbird slowly nursed the hawk back to health. The beautiful sight of the small white bird nestled in the elegant wings of the hawk soon made it the envy of all creatures in the forest. When the hawk was fully healed, it knew it was time to leave the forest, but before flying away, it promised the songbird it would one day return. In turn, the songbird gave the hawk one of his shining feathers as a token of friendship. As promised, the hawk eventually returned, but with a human in tow. "Well done," said the human. Uh, "These feathers will sell for a great price at the market." Then he slew the songbird in one blow and plucked its carcass clean. Holy crap. What a traitor. That hawk actually betrayed the songbird. Damn. I mean, I really don't know what to say there. So these weapons are made of the body, right? Of the feathers, of everything of the finish. Damn. Okay, let's read this one, the last one. Legend tell of a mighty warrior who had no equal in battle, granted immortality by a Phoenix. He wandered from war to war, forever searching for ways to prove his strength. Eventually, the man's immortal body proved too much for his spirit, and he ran himself through with his own spirit again and again. But each time he did, the wound closed over itself, leaving not even a scar. He leapt from cliff, threw himself into raging seas, and lit himself aflame. but nothing worked. Then one day he slipped mercifully into unconsciousness and awoke centuries later to find a sunburn on his chest. You have atoned for your sins. If you wish me to free you from your solitary existence, I will gladly do so. The tears of joy and whispered thanks to the suddenly stomping the bird to. I'm sorry, I had to. What the hell? It's crazy. Like, so he was so a phoenix gave him immortality, and essentially, I don't know if the same thing gave him immortality, but he then hated it. And then the bird actually came and said, "Hey, you have atoned for everything that you did in the past. I will give you your peace now." And I think he was so pissed of the god, like he's saying, "Oh, thank God for putting this bird here," and he just killed it again. He just went to kill it, like yeah. He hated that bird. Then this bird I'm now feeling a bit sorry for the bird. Okay, is there anything here? No, I don't think so. I think these are, yeah. Okay, so I read this, the Ancient Overlord. I haven't read this one. A sword with a strange and uncomfortable aura. One day, a young girl village was sacked by bandits. To protect her family, she took off a dagger her father had found in the mountains and killed one of them. An act that shocked her family, but the bandits fled, never to return. 5 years passed, then 10, then 20. Though the family she protected began to grow old, the girl never aged. Eventually, the other villagers began to shun her. With no one to turn to, she finally left her village and began to wander the earth, visiting many strange lands in the process. As the years passed, her skill and fame as a master sword fighter grew to legend. Eternal life, a powerful weapon, and boundless experience, she used these talents to become queen of a nation. And yet there was emptiness in her life, for she still desired the kindness her family denied her after that fateful day. At least this one ended a bit better, but yeah, it felt, it's very sad, you know. Let me see something here. Could this be the story of Zero? I remember Zero mentioning a story similar to this. It could be her, because from I understand she became a famous warrior, I believe. But the thing about becoming the queen of a nation, that part I don't remember. So I don't know, maybe it is her. Or maybe I'm just wrong. I'm talking about Drakengard 3, by the way. Okay, I don't think there's another one of those, right? Let me see. No, there's not. Of that type, there's nothing. Oh wait. No, this one is actually fake. I haven't read this one. There is one here, Iron Will. Oh, it makes sense. Fate, Iron Will. The sword's blade, dulled by years of idleness, was, as the name implied, a mere iron hunk. His blood-drenched youth was little more than a series of rusted memories which grated against his pock-marked steel. Who could wield this hunk of iron now that its edge was gone? Who might love it when all it could do was bash dully against a foe instead of cutting through flesh and bone? Who would devote themselves to such insanity? The source sighed softly, pleased to finally be at rest, but before it could peacefully crumble into dust, a group of power-hungry fools took it up and denied its reverie anew. Red rust was the weapon steer, the blood fat and muscle it tore through and muscle it tore through was proof of its curse. Now let it heal bone once more, let it ravish flesh, let it do all of this and more as atonement for his sins. Wow. Yeah, this sword had a bad life. Yeah, this sword is very massive, but because of how it is, it's able to withstand the passage of time. Is there another one like this? I read this one. Nope. No, there's nothing like this. Okay, let's go back. I read this one, right? Yep. Yeah, I read this too. You know what, let's read this two here. They're the only ones left in this category. Okay. A small prince rests alone in a vast bedroom. He wishes his father knew how much he hates sleeping alone, but he doesn't dare to tell him, for the king is a very busy man and must not be disturbed. A king sits alone in his vast office, drowning in affairs of state. All he wants is to see his family and hug his son, but he cannot, for his every waking moment must be spent in service of the people. One day, while eating dinner, the king asks his son what he most desires in the world. He hopes he will say that he wants them to spend more time together, but instead the boy simply points at a sword hanging on the wall. The ancient sword is considered the sign that one is ready to rule. Someday the king chuckles. His son faintly smiles back at him. All he really wanted was for his father to read him a bedtime story. That's very sad because it's like they couldn't understand each other. Like they wanted the same thing, but they were not. They couldn't either. They couldn't say it to each other, and they were misunderstanding each one what they wanted to say to the other. What's the image of this? Okay, let me. I'm looking at the image. That way I can see which weapon is which. Yeah, these are. Wait a second. Okay, this is one of those two. What was the one that I touched? This one? I mean, it seems similar. Yeah, it's the same one. Okay, I was in a death sleep when Mom started shouting, "Wakey, wakey!" She squawked, "Rise and shine. Today's a very important day. Today's your first visit to the castle." Annoying, right? But I got up anyway. Today is my 16th birthday and I have an audience with the king. Mom's apparently worried that he'll charge me with some big important task, so she gave me a cypress stick for some reason. Poof, like that'll help. As we walk to the castle, Mom keeps blabbing about how excited she is and how long she's been waiting for this day. She told me this story 1,000,001 times, so I just keep quiet like always. When we arrive, I see my friend coming out of the castle. He's 16 too, but his fearless gaze makes him look like a legendary hero to be. I'm sure he got a lot to live up to. My dad's just a carpenter, so I got it easy. Didn't understand this one. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have a good. I think you're going to have the worst job. Okay, this is basically the one from the usurper, right? Or similar. Yeah. Offer into the unto the gods. Okay, let's read this one. Twin souls were sacrificed to twin gods and bound to an unbreakable dual-bladed axe. Whenever nicked or damaged, it would instantly repair itself. The two blades would never part. They would be together for the rest of time. The souls in the blade yearn to be as one, to grow old as one, to fall in love as one. It is why we both love the same person. I am myself, look at me, give me love, stop copying me, I'm not. We are together, we are one, life or death. Even if we kill our foes, even if we kill each other, our two bodies will be as one for all time. Someone separate us, oh God, please someone help me. Damn, that's a very sad life. I read this one too. These two. Yeah, this is the guy, the builders. Okay, this one I think I read. Which one was it? This one here. Yep, the craftsman. So let me read this one now. The great sword was known for the intense pain it inflicted upon its victim. This is what drove the man to carry it despite his weight, for he knew it would make others fear him, and thus could he avoid needless conflict. The man's reputation spread through the village despite never having drawn the blade. Don't make him use that horrid weapon, the villager whispered. The man smiled at this, for he knew that fear was the best path to peace. Soon the man had craftsmen forge a host of similar weapons. He gave them to all the other villagers in the hope it would force people to solve conflict with words instead of violence. And his plan worked for a while. Keeping all sides in check is simple when no one uses their power, but once that seal is broken, the end is nigh. Thus did the peaceful village transform itself into a living hell over the space of a single night. What an idiot. Like really, what an idiot. You give the what was he expecting? It makes sense, yeah, they were going to kill each other. Yeah, that was very stupid of him to do. Human fight, why? Why humans love? Why do humans band together? You, why are you alive? Damn. I think there was another one like that, right? Yeah. I think this is cannibalism. I think it was. They were talking here. Or something like that. Okay, I think I finished. Yeah, I finished every one of these. Let's go with the spears. I read this one. Symbol of the bond between a lord and an old dragon. Could this be the one from Drakengard 1? It could be. Let's read it. I had a dream about the day we met. He was small, he was insignificant, he was weak, yet he hated the world just as I did. I decided to aid him, and he did the same for me. Thus was our friendship born. It wasn't perfect, of course. Mistakes were made along the way. Still, we remain friends. The blue wind that caresses this grassland has a pleasing scent. I bring my cheek to his, and he twitches, almost as if tickled. Then I spread my wings and let him ride me into the skies above. So essentially, yeah, it's the dragon talking here, right? Yeah, it's the dragon talking. I read this one already. Yep. Yeah, I don't remember this one. The unadorned lance pierced her foes with machine-like accuracy. The grind of metal and bone, in tandem with the pain screams of her piston, created sweet music in the mercenaries' girl. Day after day, turned to the battlefield to complete. Here, a man, fat rippling from his side, there's a slimmer gentleman whose bones will surely produce a sweeter song. Ah, who to stop first? The girl fought for an age, stabbing uncountable foes in an effort to find the ideal scream, that sonorous, bone-grinding sound. Yet profession eluded her, no matter how hard she tried. Would she ever find what she sought? Suddenly she turned to find a fine-looking hunk of meat at her side. Stabbing it produced a scream so pure she couldn't help but smile. She continued to smile as she stabbed, no longer able to recall that the hunk was her own child. What the hell? Man, these stories are very messed up. Okay, let me see something. I forgot about the combat braces actually. Let me see something first of the type. Yeah, the craftsman. Then those type versions are very... Yeah, let me read the one here. The man wailed in human scream as he brought his fist down of his opponent's skull. He brought it down again and again and again, until the victim was nothing more than a splatter of blood and spit. The man had a beautiful wife that drove everyone wild with jealousy. They lived a simple, happy life, yet the man always strove to keep his wife safe above all else. And one night the man came home to find a stranger in his bed. His wife told him that he had forced himself on her, at which point the husband flew into a rage and vowed to exact revenge. The man bought a weapon from a craftsman famed for forging instruments of pain, then used it to punish his wife, for he could not abide that she failed to protect her virtue. His revenge was complete. Wow. So it's because she couldn't protect herself. Like, it's like, because he made that promise to himself, he essentially, well, I promised to protect you, I failed, so, and you didn't do a great job either, so I'm going to kill you. Damn. Why can it not be like a happy story of one of these blades? Virtuous dignity. Okay, so I only have... Yeah, I only have this left. Interesting image. The elegant white spear was crafted by a tyrant as a gift for his wife, whose parents he had killed years earlier. He slipped it under the bed they shared, then later used it to run him through 30 times. Damn. Wasn't the first time enough? The spear's second owner was a courageous bandit fighting major. In her later years, her strength faded until one night a pack of John thugs surrounded her and took all that she had, including her life. Damn. The third owner was a greedy merchant who lived to swindle customers. Soon she found herself shunned and penniless, and so decided to hang herself. The unused spear rested in a corner of her home as a decoration. The fourth owner was a meek young boy who wanted to aid his sickly younger sister. He gave all to this cause, including his very existence and that of all else in the world. Virtuous dignity. Isn't that one that they're calling at the end? Couldn't that be NieR? Could be, because this weapon was his, right? Yeah, he destroyed the world essentially. Well, this weapon is cursed, basically. Okay, let's read this one here. I see you in my sleep, restlessly. My heart flies to pieces each time I wake. I burn to see you in the real world. I hunt for the woman who pines for you. The scream pleases me. Your body and heart shall be mine. Your heart I long for, yet it does not return my love in kind. All you care for is your cold, dead wife, so I must at least take your body. Your head is mine, beautiful head. The eyes that scorn me are so lovely now. Hate me if you like, begrudge me all. You are still mine forever. Damn, what the hell? Oh, now that I'm here, let me read this. I take up the sword and battle for you. My heart knows not fear, instead burning with a love strong and pure. I swing my sword for you, I splattering blood across my sleeve. I smile as the chaos continues. I brandish my sword for you, distance unaccountable, a distance beyond measure. Their dying wails become the sound of my sleep. I cry out, give me your head. I capture you as you flee and take it. I do all this for you, for you, for you. Who are you? Damn. So just at the end, forget about it. About the person that I love. Okay. I forgot one here. Virtuous dignity, cruel arrogance. The dark hideous land was crafted by a beautiful female artisan. As people far and wide praised its design, the artisan apprentice grew jealous and slew her. The land itself soon vanishing into the mist of time. The land's second owner was a puppeteer who crafted a clockwork doll capable of doing nearly anything. When he put the lance in the doll's hand, she slashed out and pierced the puppeteer's skull right between the eyes. The third owner was an infant prince who was gifted a lance by the Queen Regent. She died soon thereafter, and on the night of her funeral the lance vanished from the infant's room, leaving behind only a tiny corpse on the crypt. Damn. The fourth owner was a simple, honest man who wanted to aid his sickly daughter. He gave all to this cause, including his very existence and that of all else in the world. That reminds me of the father, right? When you play as the father in NieR. I think I read everything. No, I still have something left. This one. Angel's Folly. Once there was a demon who held an affinity for angels. He dreamed of serving alongside them and their god, yet cursed the impossibility of it all. Then one day he came to earth, bringing himself a step closer to heaven. An angel was sent to slay the demon. When the evil one saw his foe, he burst into tears and revealed his plan. Please, the demon begged, you must give me a set of white wings for my very own. The angel agreed to trade a set of white wings for the head of another demon. Overjoyed, the demon killed one of his own and plucked the head right off his still warm body. The angel then led the demon to heaven, where he underwent centuries of the cruelest tortures imaginable. Finally, the pain was so great that he lost consciousness, at which point his dark wings turned the promised shade of white. What the hell? So essentially, hey, you want to become an angel? Don't worry, we'll make you an angel, but we have to get the demon out of you by torturing you for a long time. Oh, I definitely do not want that fate. Okay, so this is the opposite. Once there was a gentle angel who came to earth to provide salvation for those in need. Whether it was curing illnesses, offering blessings, or cheering the sad, he was always there when needed. The angel, however, provided aid to sinners and non-believers as well, an act which was strictly forbidden. Each time he did so, a single white feather would fall away from his glorious wing. One day the angel came across a young girl with an illness that pained her deeply, but he could do nothing to help the child, for all his feathers had long since fallen off. The angel cursed both himself and the cruelty of the world. The resulting hatred stained his body and his wings, turning them both black and night. Then, crying tears of blood, he brought his hand to the girl's neck. And so, yeah, the angel became a demon, and the demon became an angel. The demon's cry, and the angel's folly. It wasn't there. I don't think there was even a good story, like a happy story. Did I miss one of them? Yeah, I don't think so. I think I read every one of them. I'm checking out. Yeah, I read this. Yeah, I think I did. I think I read each one of them. I'm just checking to be... Yeah, I read all of this. Well then, those were some of the most depressing stories that I ever heard. Although I think the ones from the first game are more depressing, I think. But that is all, guys. I think I read all the stories. Yeah, I'm not going to read this. Yeah, the enemies were really cool in this game, you know. Ah, so one of those sad stories. But yeah, I think I did everything. Yeah, I think I pretty much finished everything. Yeah, Emil saw A2 and he just said, "Oh, that's Kaine." Yeah, man, Emil. At the end of the day, Emil had a really sad story. Just think about it. He survived so many years. He saw his friend dies. He essentially was forced to see everyone fight and die. He saw humanity die. He did try his best, but at the end it was not enough. But yes. That's it. I finished everything. These are the weapon stories. The previous one was the archives and a bit of the weapon story, so that's it. I don't have anything, at least that I want to do. I pretty much finished everything. These things were already watched. I'm not going to read them again. But yeah, I finished the game, guys, fully. Now what is left is my final thoughts, and that's pretty much it. Next, I don't know. I'll keep playing 13 Sentinels until I'm close, not close to finishing, but I'm further into the story. Then maybe I'll start a second game, but we'll see. But that is all. As always, don't forget if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and also hit the notification bell. That is all. for the moment, Easy the Gamer signing off, and I will see you on the next video.